Right, so this special address is also going to be a product launch, and to present the same, I'm going to invite Ms. Juhi Belani, Lead Product and Research, NBBL, alongside Mr. Subradeep, who's here with us, and they would be addressing Unified Presentment Management System, UPMS. So please put your hands together for Ms. Juhi and Mr. Subradeep.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for attending this session on Unified Presentment Management Solutions. But before we dive into the entire presentation that we have in store for all of you, I would like to understand from the audience here, how many of y'all have ever used standing instructions in your life, whether it be to pay any of your utility bills or your loan EMIs, credit card bills, or even insurance premiums. So how many of us have used standing instructions even once? Okay, so that's most of us. Now, how many of us have all of the payments that I just mentioned, from loans to insurance to utility bills to credit cards and everything on standing instructions? That's no one. All right. So the aim of this workshop is to really introduce this product, and it is such a customer-friendly product that we hope that by the end of this presentation, we would have encouraged all of you to start using UPMS for having all of your recurring payments on our standing instruction mode. So with that, we can start with the presentation.
Okay, so I think by now everyone is very interested to know what UPMS is. I think you guys get a lot of excitement ourselves. So she's Juhi, myself Subradeep. We are part of the product team of Bharat Bill Pay, and we are here to present to you about UPMS. So before I go into what is UPMS, let me first explain that when you say that you have all the standing instructions on various payments, how it actually works. So right now, all the bank portals, the payment platforms, and all that, when they offer you those SI mechanisms, so they are actually connected through Bharat Bill Pay, and it's going to the biller. But what happened that all those platforms are doing it individually. So they all have their own algorithm, own logic to keep on, keep on connecting with the biller platform to check when the bill is due, get it, and then give you a reminder, which is also part of an SI flow, or do an auto debit on your bank account. But what happened that when everyone is doing the same job, that leads to inefficiency, right? So because your bill, the same customer's bill, everyone is fetching. Like if you go to any one platform and has ever paid a bill, they start fetching your bill, which puts lot of load on the biller platform. Like it's a duplication of effort done by the whole ecosystem. Second is non-standardized, like when the bill will be fetched, how it will be presented to you, when your account will be debited, all are decided by those players individually. So you don't get a standardized experience throughout the payment platforms. That's the second. Third is non-universal, like maybe the top platforms, top apps, they have all the facilities of SI, your prominent billers. But not all platforms are offering this same service, or even if they're offering, they might not be having all the billers getting covered in the SI facility. So to close that market gap and give a more convenient, seamless experience to the customers, to people who are registering for SI. So we at Bharat Bill Pay has implemented and launched UPMS, Unified Presentment Management System. What it does. So now UPMS is the centralized platform, which on the one hand is getting the customer registrations from through the bank's portal, through the payment platforms. So we have the customer registration coming to one centralized platform now, and and then the UPMS platform doing like a common integration with the billers, the common fetch, where instead of individually everyone doing the same job, now we will as a common platform going to all the billers, getting the bills from them, and then presenting it to all the payment platforms, the banks, the portals, the apps, and everyone. Correct. And now what?
So Shubhradeep, do we have a front end where customers can register their bills so that UPMS fetches their bills?
Very, very nice question. I think this question might be coming on the anyone's mind that whether whether it's a portal, what it is. So UPMS is actually a set of APIs. It's a set of very efficient APIs which are exposed to the ecosystem, starting from registration to presentment to payment, everything. So it's all API based. The front end will be handled and developed by those payment platforms or the portals which we call the customer operating units (COUs). So moving forward, so the centralized platform, what it ensures. First, it's efficient. Okay, how exactly it's efficient? It's efficient because, as I explained, now instead of everyone doing the same job, we are doing that job, doing that heavy lifting of getting the billers based on the billers billing cycle, based on the customer's bill details. So it's when you talk about billers, there are a lot of complexities in everyone's billing system. So we as a centralized platform is doing that heavy lifting and doing the common integration with the biller to face that efficiently and presenting it to the all the payment app, all the COUs. Okay, moving forward, this whole platform is going to be real-time and API based. I think that's going to be a marvelous thing because there is no manual activity involved. There is no file upload, no file download, nothing. Everything is API based. Even if it's a bulk registration or whatever, it's completely real time and API based. Payment mode agnostic, which is also a USP of this platform. Like at the time of registration, customer can choose any of the payment methods, be it UPI, RuPay, net banking, whatever. And customer can even change the payment method after doing the registration. They can modify that. I think that's a very unique and friendly feature for the customers. Like, you want to change from card to UPI or whatever, you can do it very easily in UPMS. I think we'll explain this all thing in more detail in the further slides. No amount limit. Another, very great feature. Like when you're registering, there is no amount limit on the registration.
But don't most of the payment modes have an amount limit when standing instructions are registered? How do we ensure there's no amount limit in UPMS?
Yeah, very nice question. I think I will explain it. So what happens when you're doing a registration? So there are two modes of registration. One, what we call as a reminder facility. The customer is getting a reminder when a bill is getting generated for the customer, where the customer needs to authorize that payment. For that mode of payment, there is no amount limit because customer is authorizing it. The second method where it's an auto debit, the individual restrictions on the payment instruments stays there. But there also, if suppose there is a bill which has been present to the customer, which breaches that threshold of that max limit, then that auto debit automatically gets converted into a reminder. So it's not that SI will fail. Instead of an auto debit, the customer will be prompted to authorize that payment. So basically, at the end, there is no amount limit on while registering through UPMS. Hope it answers your question, Juhi. Moving forward, it's a highly configurable system. As I said, billers have various flows, various ways of integration, but UPMS supports every possible types of flows. For example, whether based on the biller's billing cycle, should we go and fetch the bill, or the biller will push the bills to us based on the customer's detail, or the customer can even register for an auto top up that for a fixed amount. Okay, you go and recharge my prepaid of 100 rupees every fortnightly. So different kinds of configurations are possible in system. This system is not that it supports only one type of flow. It is highly configurable. And lastly, I think one more unique is the customer can register on multiple platforms. Like for your loan EMI, it's not that it has to get debited from only one account always, and if the balance is not there, it will fail. You can register on multiple platform, and this platform will ensure that it's getting debited only from one account, or your loan EMI will never fail. I think we'll cover all this in the further slides for details.
Wow, that's a lot of advantages for a single platform. I'm sure there are so many advantages. This platform has to be power-packed with a lot of product offering, a lot of functionalities. So let's start with some of the functionalities that UPMS has. So first step in every standing instruction is where customer registers for that standing instruction on any one of the platforms. So in UPMS, customer can choose to register in either an auto debit mode, where his bills are auto debited from his payment mode, or a view and pay mode, which is nothing but a reminder service. As and when bills are available, the customer is reminded, is presented with the bills, and he can make a payment. This he can do on different platforms, so it could be any bank or a payment app platform, or customers can even do this on the biller platform directly. So let's look at what will be the user journey when he decides to register for a view and pay on a bank platform or a payment app platform. So first would be where customer visits the payment app and selects his biller category and his biller. Next, customer will put in his unique identification number. This could be his policy number, account number, and so on. And after that, if there are any payments due for the customer for that particular account, his bill details are shown to him, and on the bill page, he will be given an option to select for registration from the subsequent cycles. So he can select that checkbox with a reminder service and proceed to pay. Once he has paid the bill, his registration will be completed. In the same option, if he would have selected an auto pay mode, his user journey would look something like this. So after selecting auto pay, he would be giving his mandate details there and then on the bill page. This would include his maximum amount, his preferred debit date. This is another feature UPMS would be introducing in the standing instruction scenario, where he can select at exactly what date he wants the auto debit to happen, his frequency and validity of the mandate, after which he can proceed to select the payment mode he wants to select for processing his auto debits for the bills. After authentication, his registration will be complete and active without him doing any further steps. Next, on a biller platform, his journey would be very similar, where he can directly go to a biller platform app and fetch for his bill details, which are existingly due. On the bill details page itself, he can select for auto payment from his next bills onwards. He will provide all the details, similar mandate details on the biller platform. Over here, he will also be selecting a payment platform of his choice. This will be a UPMS-enabled payment platform. When he selects that, he will be redirected to the payment app, where he will authenticate his payment mode. After authentication, he will be redirected back to the biller app, and the redirection will completely be taken care by the UPMS platform centrally. So after his registration is completed, he can also go to his original touchpoint where he had registered and manage all his standing instructions in one place. He'll be able to view all his standing instructions, modify all his standing instructions, as well as cancel them as per his preferences.
Juhi, I think I would like to ask the question that what all fields I can modify, like what all things I can change after I complete my registration?
Right. So if he wants to modify his mandate, he will be able to modify all of the details that he provided, including his payment mode, his maximum amount, his validity and frequency, and all the fields that he basically provided, he will be able to modify from this option.
That's nice.
Right. So next is, once the registration is completed, the bills will have to be fetched and provided to these payment platform apps. So these will be done in two ways from the biller side. So one is where UPMS initiates a biller-wise fetch. This will be based on a logic on the bill cycle of each biller. So UPMS will initiate a fetch, and biller will revert back with the bill details that are available for the customer. The second mode is where the biller initiates the push to UPMS. So once biller initiates the push and sends the bills to UPMS, UPMS then has all the bills available for customers. UPMS will then ensure that these bills are given via APIs to the customer payment platform apps where the customer has registered.
So, Juhi, maybe here you can give some examples, like which all billers will be, where we will do the fetch, and billers where the billers will push the bills to us?
Right, excellent. So yes, for the first mode where we have a biller-wise fetch logic configured in UPMS, that is more suited from biller where customer cycles are more standardized, where the bill cycle for each customer is more or less standard. So that is for the utility categories such as electricity, credit cards, water, gas. But the biller push is where if the biller is pushing the bills to UPMS, that is where the customer cycle is not so standardized. And also the customer cycles are best known to the biller. Hence, this model would be a lot more better fit.
I think that's what we mean by highly configurable when we giving a
Yes.
feature list.
Yes. So last is where once the bills are presented to the payment platforms, UPMS enables that even if customer is registered on multiple platforms, his payments does not get debited duplicate times. So that is done via this feature of a payment skip intimation. So the first step where a payment platform initiates a payment to UPMS, and then UPMS initiates the payment to the biller. After this step, UPMS also lets the other platforms know that there is a payment completed for this customer for this cycle, and this is known as a skip payment notification, so that the other platforms do not initiate a payment again. Also, this reduces the unnecessary reminders that customer is given even after he's paid his bill on any one of the platforms.
So as I understand, Juhi, like it will stop all the duplicate debit, even if the customer is on multiple platforms. But the question comes over here that what if both the platforms are initiating the payment request at a similar time before even getting the skip notification? How UPMS is going to handle that?
Right, so UPMS does have a duplication check. So even before we have a skip intimation, that is to proactively let the customer platforms know, we will do a duplication check to ensure that no duplicate payment goes through UPMS.
That's nice.
Next, I want to look at the UPMS journey with you all of where we are today and where we plan to go. So in December 2021 is when UPMS was open for integration, and we reached out to all our partner entities, and we've been integrating with them. By October 2022, we will have 6 pilot entities going live on UPMS, and also we'll have a pilot bill fetch billers going live by October. By November, we'll have a couple of more entities going live, and we'll also have all our phase 1 bill fetch billers live by November 2022. And by December, we'll also have a pilot bill push billers going live on UPMS. By December, we'll also be launching a new flow, which is the registration where the customer can register directly onto the biller platform. So next, I want to look at, once UPMS goes live on all the entities, what effect will it have on our day-to-day lives for standing instructions? So let's take a look at FASTag. So you'll always be able to smoothly clear all your toll lines because your FASTags will be on auto top-up and not a fixed auto top-up. This will be triggered based on your minimum balance. So if your account reaches a minimum balance level, it will be auto topped up. Credit cards, you can just forget about paying ever late payment fees, because you can do a standing instruction not just for your full amount, but you can also do a standing instruction to auto pay your minimum amount due to credit cards, so as to ensure that your late payment fee is never levied. DTH, again, there are custom plans for DTH, and standing instructions right now don't really handle that. So with UPMS, we'll be able to handle all your custom plans, and your plans will be put for an auto renewal, so you can enjoy your entertainment seamlessly. And lastly, loan repayments. Very important, because your credit score gets affected if your loan repayment EMI gets skipped. So in this case with UPMS, since you can register on multiple platforms, you can ensure that at least any of the accounts that has a balance, your loan EMI will be paid from that account.
Yeah,
So
and I think those are few of the examples. I think after UPMS, getting integrated with all the billers, I think there will be many more use cases. Like a seamless customer journey that we are promising. So that's all will come to light. Yeah. With here we come to the end of the presentation, and I think we are now open for questions. We have 5 minutes left. Okay, we have 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes.
How would this be handled specifically in case of net banking transactions, where each bank, each account would have a certain limit, which is essentially controlled by the bank? Will this override that as well?
So for autopay, again, the bank limits will be in place, yes. But again, as net banking, as you mentioned, banks define that limit.
Correct.
But even for that, the customer can give that as a maximum amount, and if his bill comes above that amount, it won't go to an auto pay mode, but it will be still considered as a view and pay instead of him completely missing out the bill.
So there would be
so
a
it will be
reminder or
converted
there
to
would
a-
be a nudge that UPMS would probably
So customer
send.
will be like will be asked to authenticate that transaction. Is that it's not that you don't know that there's a due and it failed. It will never fail. It will just ask for your authentication.
Okay. I have one more question.
Please.
The other screenshot which was visible on the screen, I mean, in the customer payment journey, there was a checkbox which essentially required the end customer to choose to put a particular payment on autopay, or what do you say, an SI.
Yeah.
This is essentially going to be a select-only option, or PSPs are going to pre-check it. What
it
what
will
would
be-
be the the
Even
line
if
of
it is-
action?
Right. So this kind of nuance will be taken care by the customer platform. But even if it is pre-checked, it will be prominently displayed, and customer will be able to disable it if he doesn't want to check it. So,
So,
customer will have that option
okay.
to enable or disable.
Just to add to what he said, so we have given some guidelines to our partners that how it should be made. Customer should be made aware that what they are going to do. Okay, so they should, but ultimate how the UI, it will be a checkbox or it will drop down. To those we have get our partners to decide, but we have guidelines. And further, like we also said that customers should be remind days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 days. So those kind of reminders. So everything is we have published a guideline for our partners who are implementing UPMS.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it answers. Okay. Sure.
Yes.
Hi. Is there any plan to restrict any payment modes right now, or it's going to be open for all?
So there may be category-specific restrictions that we have right now as well. Like you can't use credit cards for certain, like loan amounts, something like that. But other than that, if it is allowed right now, then UPMS will not restrict the payment mode.
Okay, and is there like any plan to UPI 1 to 3 is just coming up, right? So is there any plan to have like an auto pay functionality on that as well?
Yes. So we are also like that's a recent feature, but of course, in future we'll have like a UPI connectivity with UPMS as well.
Okay, I have one more question. You had mentioned on the Biller app, the customer will get to see a list of all the COU platforms that have been enabled, right?
Yes.
So this updation of this list would be like an API that UPMS would trigger. Is that how it would work?
Yes.
Because that information,
yes,
as new and new platforms like get, so that would be an API push that the BOU essentially will have to update.
That's
I
right.
could say.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
We have time for one last question if there's any. Sure.
I think maybe we can do it.
Yeah, please go on.
There was an option which is available to the end customer which says 7 days before the due date.
Yes.
Essentially, I understand that for newer categories, the due date is not something which is getting passed on from the biller, from the BOUs. So do you plan to make changes on that side of the ecosystem?
Okay, so there are certain categories where we are having the due dates. Okay, and those are primarily the categories, where we might be, having a bill fetch kind of a cycle, because we know that, when the bill is getting generated, when it is due and all that, there will be certain categories where the billers will push the bill to us. And in those cases, the biller needs to give a date, like when is the due date, whether it's a late amount that will be applicable after due date. So all those information, and even the expiry, like, by when it needs to be expired. It's not that, customer has been given the bill and, it can indefinite period. It will open for indefinite period. So there will be all the details being passed from the billers to our platform. Yeah. Okay. So I think we are done for the time, but we are around. We have a stall also on our third floor. So please feel free to walk in, and we are happy to answer all your questions on BBPS, UPMS, and everything. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. So for behalf of BillPay, thanks everyone for attending the workshop.
All right. Thank you, Shubhradeep, and thank you, Juhi, for addressing this lovely product presentation. And thank you, audience, for joining us today.